Welcome to the Take a Listing Today podcast, where our hosts Jim Studebaker and Todd Robertson give you strategies to get you out of the office right now so you can take a new listing today. And now, here's Jim and Todd.
Hello. Hey. Welcome back. It is show number 51, almost a year of these things, Todd. Wow.
Where's time gone? It just goes.
It just goes. Absolutely. Welcome to today's Take a Listing Today podcast. And be sure to visit our website, takealistingtoday.com, to learn about our upcoming shows and to join us live on a future podcast where you might win some great cash and prizes. Do we have cash or just prizes? I don't remember.
We have cash every other show. Unfortunately, this is the other show.
Darn. But this show, we do have some gift cards and books and great things like that. So I'm Jim Studebaker, and there's Todd Robertson.
And our producer over here, Lisa Gray, in the house.
All right. Well, today is a wonderful topic. Glad you joined us for show number 51. Today, we're going to talk about top markets to go after in 2020. And one of the best markets to go after is high-income renters. Now, listen to this. A new Joint Center for Housing study from Harvard University, and they're smart guys up there. They said that 12 million Americans spend more than half of their earnings on rent. Can you believe that? Well, this reality is probably why more renters are waking up fed up that their rent checks are lining their landlord's pockets, and they're ready to consider buying their own house. Now, in the past, Americans in the nation's most expensive cities have chosen to rent because it appeared to be the best solution. For example, in San Francisco, the median starter home cost about $895,000. There are more high-income renters than homeowners in San Francisco, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. As rents rise, however, they are starting to realize that perhaps a fixed-rate mortgage payment is far better than the wildly accelerating rental rates that are happening right now.
Exactly. And those of you listening and watching, I want you to think about one thing, right? Most people try to avoid this segment of the market. I have this conversation with people every week. We have a client, however, 2 or 3 months ago, and I wish I knew his name, a market dominator client. So he's on a 2-year listing campaign, sending out the largest legal size in the country. And he told me, because we had this conversation, he said, Todd, I want this area, this area, this area, and then over here are more renters. I go, well, so most people try to avoid that. Why do you? And he goes, I want to go fishing where they don't. And what he said he did, he said he took 1 day a week. Right? He's working on listings, working on being a listing machine, but he took 1 day a week to go visit the high-income buyers and connect, pass something out so they see him, not sporadically, 1 day a week.
Okay.
Pretty amazing.
That's a good, as long as you're consistent and you do that, that's going to produce results for you, right?
Yeah.
So why are so many people still renting? Well, many are cash poor and they don't understand that they don't have to have a huge chunk of money for down payment and the closing costs. Others assume they can't afford to purchase despite having a decent income. To successfully pursue this real estate audience requires targeted marketing that dispels myths and speaks to their pain points. Yeah, so here are some suggestions on topics that you may want to use to attract these tenants, hopefully future buyers. Let's start with helping them understand the upfront costs. A new homeowner was recently quoted in a Bankrate.com article, and this homeowner said, quote, I was a long-term renter because I wanted to wait to buy until I could afford to stay in my current neighborhood. I didn't realize that there were more affordable options.
And speaking of that, now we find in Florida, and a lot of you throughout different parts of the country might or might not have the same variables that we do. There are a lot of new construction out here, and a lot of them are halfway done when all this stuff happened. So think about going to a builder. I mean, incredible. Like you could take your client there, you still get the commission, and builders will make sure that property gets closed. And there's a ton of that out there, at least where we are. There's a ton of that.
Yes. Half-finished properties, huge subdivisions.
Right.
And they want to get that sold so they can move on.
Exactly.
Great idea. Now, one would think, looking at the not knowing about affordable options out there, one would think that with all the information out there on the internet at your fingertips, that consumers would be better informed about their low down payment options and closing cost assistance. Basically, it's the assumption that the costs are higher when you buy than when you rent that keeps many of them out of the housing market. So you need to have as a goal dispel that myth so that the renters out there don't think that they can't afford to get into a house.
And oftentimes it can be overwhelming until you get the right agent that will simplify the process for you and walk you through it.
Right.
Right? Like our agent we interviewed last week, Christine, right? If you get somebody of that nature, well, they're going to make it easy for you. So let's just put one foot in front of the other. And if we come across an obstacle, we'll handle it. We will get to the finish line.
And give you options and what is available out there, like down payment assistance.
Yeah, down payment assistance, working with the builder that has a fire sale, perhaps, a lot of great options.
Right. So talking about down payment assistance, many are reserved for low to moderate income earners, but there are actually more than 2,000 assistance programs nationwide, and there are some out there for higher earning home buying prospects. Another thing you can do is let them know about FHA mortgages. Down payments can go as low as 3.5% and no income limits for the borrowers. You'd be shocked to know how few consumers are aware of this. That's why you need to be the fountain of knowledge for these people. The next important topic to address is buying a home builds wealth. Does renting build wealth?
Hit the button. Hit the button.
That's a big buzzer.
Does renting build wealth?
We've got the...
Whoa.
We might
Don't
want
throw
to
tomatoes out here. We're at the
wait a
beach. We're at the beach. No throwing tomatoes. Jeez.
So, yes. Back in 2018, when household net worths... When the
Household net worth.
Yes.
You got it. You got
right,
it.
Exactly. Thank you. It was a record $98 trillion. Homeowners saw the most gain because of appreciation. In fact, the average homeowner has a net worth of $195,400, and that is 36 times that of the average renter's net worth, which is $5,400.
That is worth writing down.
Yes, write that down.
Agents listening to that, say it one more time because they've got to write
Exactly.
that down.
Which one do you want?
I put that on all my marketing if I were an agent.
Go slow on that so they can write that down and get it.
All right.
36 times net worth. That's amazing.
Yes. So here you go. Once again, the average homeowner, $195,400.
Is their net worth?
Yes, net worth. The average renter's net worth is $5,400. Oh, that's not good. Oh, okay. You just wanted some sound effects in there, didn't you?
I did.
Okay.
I love those.
But the good news is we can help those people and turn them into homeowners with the right strategies.
Absolutely. You know, people never think about their net worth when they're signing a rental agreement. So basically, from that moment until the lease expires, these renters are adding to the landlord's net worth, which is, if you're a landlord out there, sorry about that. We don't mean to offend you, but hey, go sell those guys a house and you're going to pocket a nice commission anyway, right? All right. So you need to address this fact in your marketing. Let your prospects know that homeownership may be one of the most significant and surefire means of increasing their net worth. So now that you've got your topics, you might be wondering what renters you should target. I'm glad you asked. You should go after the renters who earn in excess of $70,000.
And imagine if there was a way to do this easily, which we're going to touch on here in a few minutes, but listen to Jim hit on these bullet points, and we're going to make it easy for those of you that really want to do this.
Yeah, because I'm sure people are thinking, now, how am I ever going to find out what renters earn, right?
Right. How do I go in there?
Who is a renter to begin with?
Right.
Well, before we get to that, you want to focus on the 1.35 million plus American households who earn $150,000 per year, and they're renting if you're in a market that supports that number. So if you're in a market that doesn't provide a number like that, you can also grab an annual salary that better fits your market. Now, as Todd alluded to, our sponsor, ProspectsPLUS, has a demographic search tool that makes it easy to build a list of high-income renters based on any annual income range that you choose. It's in the custom tools section. So basically, you can go on there and grab a prospect list. You say it's a renter, And then you say, here is the income that I want it. I want it above 70,000 or 100,000, or, if you live in the backwoods of somewhere, 15,000, whatever it might be.
Right. Now,
go ahead.
so I just wrote down one thing, and we need to go back over this so they understand it. We will make sure before this ends that you guys will understand where to go for those of you that want to do this. I wrote down one sentence in our producers meeting. I wrote down, is your competition doing this? The answer is no, right? Because they're avoiding that, right? I want this section, but I don't want this, this, and this. Well, go fishing where most people don't go fishing, right? Not only that, we're helping more people build wealth. So think about the psychology of this. So don't say, no, I don't want that. Obviously, build your listing so other people go to work for you, but this will help you double in some stuff. This will help you bring a buyer. A lot of greatness will come from this.
Right. And I think there might be a stigma among real estate professionals that I don't want to work with renters. Oh, they've got no money.
Huge.
They've got, right?
Yeah.
But that's why we have the addition of give me renters who earn over X.
Right.
So that way you're dealing with somebody who at least has the ability to purchase a house.
Exactly.
So Lisa, you had something brilliant to say?
I was just going to say what's great about this demographic search tool is that you can search by zip code. You can put in more than one zip code. You can put a specific address in and ask so many miles within that address. So there's many different ways to begin that demographic search. And then pretty much what you're doing is there's so many cool top targeted market searches you can do within that tool. Or you can just hit custom, and when you hit custom, after you've put in your information, your geographic information, you get to a page that asks, is it a homeowner, is it a renter, and then there is where you pick that salary range. So it's really literally just one screen, next screen, you got what you want. Bam, you've got that list.
And
Very easy
let me
now.
just throw this out because you touched on a great point, and I know those listening and watching have all of our info. Where can we get in touch? But if you had any confusion or complication or say, boom, I want to implement that, just call us 800-287-5710 and anybody here can help steer you and help you with that and point you to the right place. So we can make that happen for you if that's something you want to do.
Yeah, and you'll probably put that in the notes for the show on this, right?
The tool,
Yeah.
the link to the tool.
Perfect. All right, good. Now, here is a really cool idea that Lisa came up with. I'm very excited about this. So you've got your rental prospect list, which you got on ProspectsPLUS.com. Well, now you can print that out and take it with you to a listing presentation. Now, even better, instead of printing out just a list of names and addresses, what if they were all on a map? Ooh, good idea.
That's a very good idea, and we could take it one step further.
How's that?
One step further would be you're going on a listing presentation. You've already bought this list, so you know people renting that make X amount of money, whatever number fits in your market. So imagine, now this would take some guts and some chutzpah, but imagine bringing, whether it's 50 or 25 or 100 postcards, stamped, addressed, with those people on it. Show them the map and let them know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if you can sign here and here, we'll get these mailed out tomorrow, and we're mailing these to potential people that are qualified, boom, for your home.
So you're bringing them in already stamped? So you already spent money on a stamp? And now the guy sitting there who owns the house is thinking, oh, now I've got to do this because you spent 50 cents on a stamp.
Slight obligation factor, reciprocity.
Right.
They're like, oh, this poor guy's going to have to go home and throw these away. You know what? Here, take the listing, send the postcards. I hope things work out. Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
And the cool thing, again, here's another area where you say, well, wait, how am I going to do this? How am I going to print this
Right.
list out and show it on a map? You don't want the names, you want it on
Right.
a map. That's another cool thing you can do at Prospects Plus. You go to your account, the account area of the e-commerce platform. You click on the drop-down menu, go to your mailing list management section, and find your list title, and click on the option Map It. And a map will come up on the screen. It'll show little pinpoints where all of these homes are, and you go ahead and you just print that map out, and you can show that to your prospective clients in that listing.
Exactly.
presentation.
Imagine just bringing that to the listing appointment. That's impressive. So you can stack the cool according to how strong you want to make it. But your competition will not have that map of the potential renters, because what did we hear yesterday in our meeting? When people buy a home from a renter to a homeowner, it's typically within a radius,
Yeah,
right? It's
7 mile radius.
right. That way your kids can go to the same schools. You have the same grocery store, same 5 mile bubble. You know, same gym, same. Yeah.
Right. And I think that there are some brilliant videos on ProspectsPLUS.com in case you got confused about how to do all this that actually walks you through
Exactly.
doing what we're talking about today.
I love their videos.
Yes.
Some very short videos that make it very, very easy. And if you need help, obviously, we can help you in addition.
So, Todd, what's that called when you get the listing and then you also bring the buyer? Isn't there a name for that?
It's a name for that, and everyone listening and watching knows the name. When you double in properties, when you get both sides, there's magic in that, and this strategy will help you do more of that throughout time. So now you're making, right? I mean, you're doing the same amount of work, maybe a little tiny bit more, but you're making way more money, and you're doing something your competition, if they heard about it, how do I do it? Well, boom, they go on to what they know, right? They go on to what they know.
Perfect. Did we miss anything, Lisa?
Oh, well, just one other bonus tip.
Tip.
Is once you've got this list, there's so many ways to work with this
Right.
list. Another way is anytime you send out a just listed, just sold postcard, make sure you're sending it to this renter list. I mean, use this list, right?
Exactly.
It's a list of people who have a high income and are renting, so those are perfect people who might purchase a house.
Let them know what you're up to. Yeah.
Wow.
Let them know what you got listed.
Very awesome. Well, thank you very much for that bonus tip. I hope it was worth the money for everybody out there. Today's podcast, of course, was brought to you by Prospects Plus, featuring prospect lists of high-income renters. So go check them out at ProspectsPLUS.com. And thank you so much for being with us today. We will see you again in a week for the Take a Listing Today podcast. See you later.
Bye-bye.